Hey guys, if you're watching this video, you're probably having issues with your Epson ET-2720 printer. Just a little backstory. This printer I converted into a sublimation printer, so that's what I use it for. But today my printer is making this sound. And this is how the image looked on the paper. I ended up hitting cancel and not letting it continue printing, but obviously this isn't the way the image should look. It had excess ink on the paper and I ended up getting ink all over my hands. So I'm going to walk you through the steps I did to fix this issue. Just keep in mind, I am not an expert. This is my opinion. You'll want to do your own research, but this is what I did and it fixed my issue. Hopefully it does the same for you if you choose to follow these steps. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just a do-it-yourself girl who enjoys figuring issues out and fixing them. So let me walk you through what I did. The first thing I did was some troubleshooting steps, but I do think I already know what the issue is, but I'm still going to want to start with the easy steps first. But back in January of 2024, I had the end of service life warning. So I replaced the ink pads and I reset my counters. And today we are in September of 2025. So I do use my printer a lot, but I am thinking that I have reached the end of service life again. But let's find out. So what I'm going to do is just kind of clean this up really quickly. There's actually ink in there that's spilled out. Either I overfilled it, which I know I didn't, or it could be many reasons. I'm not a professional. So I'm going to take a little piece of paper towel and I have like a little stick and I'm just going to wrap it per se with this little stick and I'm going to pick up, this is dry, I'm just going to go over here on the sides and just kind of pick up the ink so it is not messy. So see, like right here, all right, because I want there to be no ink going forward, no spills or anything like that. Let me get a new one. And I just don't recall it ever being like that. So we're just gonna start with this. I'm just wiping up any loose ink. Definitely this one, yellow. And you wanna be careful doing this. You don't want to break anything or anything like that. And I'm gonna see here, let me go ahead and get a new one. Actually what I was thinking is it could be too that the ink, this wasn't pushed all the way down. So if this isn't, let me clean this first a little bit too, you guys. This should go all the way down. So if it, for some reason it wasn't, it could have caused that issue as well, as far as the leaking and the noise. I'm thinking. Again, I'm not a professional. Let's clean this up here. This part is cleaned up. We're gonna go ahead and close it and move on to number 2, the next step. So the first thing we did was wipe up the mess over here and also make sure that the tank caps are completely sealed and that's clean. That rules out a simple spill issue. Next thing we're gonna do is run a test print. We're gonna go ahead and go over to settings and we're gonna hit OK. And then maintenance pops up, which we want. So we're gonna hit OK to proceed. And then it says nozzle check. So we're gonna hit OK to proceed. And actually I need to get some paper. So 1 second. So I'm gonna put some paper in here. Next, we're gonna go ahead and hit OK to confirm. And then we're gonna go ahead and hit the print button right here. And it says load the letter size, which I did. So we're gonna hit that again. And it's gonna go ahead and print and we're gonna check that out. It actually says, are there any missing segments? And actually my segments look pretty good. The only missing one is there, which really isn't a big deal at all. But since we want to make it perfect, I guess, let's go ahead and say yes. And we're going to go ahead and hit OK. We're going to go ahead and clean it so it'll be perfect. And it says start cleaning, and this takes about 3 minutes. Which really, in my case, I really didn't need to do it because honestly, that's not very bad. But just in case you guys have that issue and it's worse, I wanted to walk you through how to do it because this actually does waste ink. So give me a thumbs up for wasting ink for y'all. So this does take 3 minutes. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. It looks like it's getting close to being done. Something to just let you know, when you do this, it still shows that there's broken lines, missing lines, and that sort. You don't want to clean it back to back. They recommend waiting, I think, about 15 minutes, which again, I'm not a technician, but I do know that you're not supposed to do it back to back because it wastes, not only does it waste ink, but it can flood the waste ink pad, so you're just gonna make it worse. Whereas if you wait like 15 minutes, it helps. All right, so check complete. Check if the nozzles are not clogged. So let's go ahead, well actually let's go ahead and do nozzle check. So I just arrow down and then okay. And then let's go ahead and print and see how it looks now. Which keep in mind, mine wasn't bad, but it should look better than it did. So this was before we did the cleaning. You can see right up here, it's just a little bit of missing. And then this is now, and I folded it over just so my personal information isn't exposed, but you can see that it fixed this. So there is less missing, so it looks better. All right, so are there any missing segments? We're gonna go ahead and put no. We're gonna go ahead and go back because we're done with that, okay? And if yours still is missing, remember you wanna wait about 15 minutes, and then I think you could probably try doing that repeat for like 2 or 3 times, and if that doesn't work, then move on to this step. So we're gonna head on over to wic, which is wic.support/download. I'll leave the link in the descriptions below, but this is how we're going to be able to find out what our ink counter is at. So we're going to go ahead and I am going to download the reset utility for Windows. If you have a Mac or a Linux, you'll want to download that. And just to let you know, if this is your first time doing it, you can use the word trial right here and they'll do it for free. This is, but they only give you 80% one time only. So you can only use it once. I already know I used it once. I can't use it. I know I have to pay for it. We're gonna hit download. So I'm gonna double click on the wic and I accept the terms. I'm gonna go ahead and download this and hit next and next. Create a desktop shortcut and install. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and hit finish to launch the reset, the wic reset. Okay, so what we can do here, we're gonna click on the printer. So we have this selected, you can tell because it's blue. And we're gonna go ahead and read my waste counters. Remember when I mentioned earlier in the video that I had previously gotten a notification that my printer had reached end of life and I had to change my ink pads and reset the counter? I did that about 18 months ago. At that time, I actually used a free promo code, which you can only use once. That free promo code is trial. Anyways, when you use the trial code, instead of giving you 100% life for the ink pads, it only gives you 80%. Following me so far? So now when I'm reading my counter, it's at 79.98%. So in my case, that 79.98% is basically comparable to 100% life, since when I reset it with that trial code, I only got 80% life. Following me? So that's my issue. I'll need to change the ink pads again, but this time I'm going to walk you through how to do that a second time. And if you use the trial code before, like I did, you'll need to pay for the reset this time. So let's do it. All right, guys, so first step is make sure that your printer is off and unplugged. So I have my plug unplugged and it's just set to the side. So number 2 is you'll need a Phillips screwdriver, latex gloves so you're not messy. I did put something underneath just in case it spills. And here is my extra. Actually, that one is yucky. All right, so here is my waste ink pad extra sponge. So let's go ahead and open this up. All right, and you know what? I went downstairs to get the tools and stuff. Actually, does it come with, oh yeah, it came with a screwdriver. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. I forgot. All you're gonna do, you guys, is take a screwdriver and unscrew it. So don't wanna lose the screws. And let me just kind of position this so you guys can see a little bit better so I don't have to move the camera. All right, I'm just gonna take this, there. And you're just gonna push out. I used a finger here, and push out. That's it. There is this that I'm going to replace. So there is another screw, and that is just right here. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that. And here, before I do anything, I'm going to put gloves on because it is messy sometimes. So let me grab my handy dandy gloves. And remember, the printer is off, unplugged. All right, what I'm gonna do is carefully, because I already unscrewed it, pull this out, just like that. If you looked at my first video, it was completely saturated. And this one is not. So you're probably wondering, if it's not that saturated, why am I still gonna replace it? Well, that's kind of a good question. So the main reason I'm replacing it is because once I reset the counter, it's going to show 100% pad life, and I wanna start fresh. If I just reset it without actually changing the pad, I'd have no idea how full it really is, and I don't wanna risk running into problems down the road. I just got a little bag and I started to just reach in here and pushing these in, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out just like that. All right, and so this is here, and it's actually not bad, but I am gonna replace it like I said. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just clean this here so it's all fresh and clean. So I cleaned this out, I just took water, dumped it, and it was clean. It wasn't stained or anything. And then you want to make sure it's dry really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. And do I need scissors? Let me grab some scissors. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and place this in here. What I'm going to do is just place this in just like this. All right. So that looks super good. And we're gonna go ahead and place this in here. I think it goes this way. Yeah, yep, it does. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and take a screw. Let me make sure it's lined up. We're gonna go ahead and screw this back in. So we're gonna go ahead and slide this back on, just like that. Then I'm gonna take the screw and put this in here. All right, guys, so we just changed the replacement pads. So now we're heading back to the Wick Reset utility. For these steps, you'll want to plug your printer back in and use a USB cable to connect to the printer and to your desktop/laptop. You'll want to make sure that you connect through the USB cable for this part because it's more reliable than Wi-Fi for resets. You'll see that it shows 2 Epsons on the top left-hand side. The first one is the Epson through Wi-Fi, and the second one is showing that I am connected via USB cable. So I'm going to go ahead and select that Epson. Next, at the very top, you'll see buy reset key. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And I only need one key, so I'm going to just purchase this one right here. You'll need to add it to the cart and create an account if you haven't already, and then buy it. Once you paid for it, they will immediately email you the code. So you're going to go up here and you're going to click on reset waist counter, and you're just going to paste in your new code, and you're going to hit OK. And it says, in order to apply all the changes, please turn your printer off now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I went ahead and I turned it off. It says, congratulations, your printer waist counter has been reset. That is all you have to do, and you're just going to power it back on and everything should be back to normal. So I hope you found this video helpful. If I did help you, make sure you give me a thumbs up and comment below if you want. I have an Epson playlist if you have any other Epson issues. I may have already come across those issues, and feel free to check out my playlist. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.